Cage.
Democracy doing?
Well, according to dictionary.com, the definition of democracy is a system of government by the whole population or all the eligible members of a state, typically through elected representatives. All right, that was good.
Like it, yeah. All right.
Pause that bitch.
Pause that bitch. I have bloopers at the end.
I'm here with David Kyer of Westfield High School. David, do you think that our current election system is corrupt? And if so, why?
I do think the election is corrupt. Here's why. A lot of it's just about money. It's about who can put out the most advertisements. It's about who can throw the most money out at people to, put signs up and like making just crazy ads about things.
Insightful, David. Insightful.
Thank you, Dylan.
I have to have my China. China, because China.
Very controversial topic to talk about right now. How do you think we could combat school shootings?
Well, David, it's funny you asked that. I have a very unpopular opinion on this topic. A lot of people are saying that we need more gun control. We need to rid everywhere of guns. We need to rid schools of guns. We need to focus on mental institutions to stop these shootings. But I believe that these shootings could be combated the same way that terrorism is combated in the air. I believe that there should be teachers trained to be able to handle a gun in the school. And for example, Westfield is set up with our different locker bays, and there's about 6 or 7 classrooms with teachers in those locker bays. And I think that we could have each teacher in a locker bay have a gun on them, but it would be concealed who had it, just like an air marshal in the air. And I believe if we had that in every school in the nation, people would be way more scared to shoot up a school because they would die. They would not do as much damage, which is bad to say, but it's true.
Mm-hmm.
A good example is, I believe in Maryland last year, somebody came into the school with a gun and only fired 1 shot before they were shot down by the school SRO and were not able to take any more lives.
Wow.
Fake news by President Trump and all of the media that you see every day on your Twitter timeline and on the news. What do you choose as your source of news? And is there anything that you've seen recently that stood out to you?
Well, my main source of news is usually YouTube. I like to look up a lot of different resources, compare them, just make sure I'm not just getting just one-sided information, And one thing I've actually recently seen on YouTube is I watched this guy. His name's Steven Crowder. He's a very conservative person.
Intelligent.
Very intelligent guy, yes. He actually went around to some gun shows and see if he could purchase a gun, and no one would sell him one, ever. He said, I don't have a license. We can't purchase. You got to do this. You got to do shit through the state, other things like that. And I saw something at CNN that completely, was just the opposite. They were just able to go to any gun place and just buy a gun. And it's hard, you don't know, what to believe, So that's one thing that I've noticed in the news is, a lot of times,
You're fighting the fake news. It's fake, phony, fake.
I'm once again here with David Kyer. And my one question for you, David, is why do you think voting is important in the United States of America?
It's a great question, Dylan. Great question.
Thank you.
In my opinion, voting is extremely important. Doing your research, understanding our government, and voting are one of the most important things that you should do. Voting is very important because it literally determines how our country is going to be run. Whether it's going to be conservative or democratic, you have to,
Insightful.
Yeah.
Insightful.
Dylan, it's been a very good interview. Very nice talking to you. But just one more thing. How would you sum up this whole interview?
I would say that we touched a lot of controversial topics, definitely some of the most controversial topics that are in our nation today. But I would say to tie the whole thing up, I would say we focus mostly on the health of the democracy in the United States. And if I had to give an opinion on how healthy our democracy is, I would say that's not very healthy due to Trump just being Trump and going on these Twitter tirades, or the topic of gun control and school shootings, or maybe just like women's rights, which are it's horrible that's still even like something we talk about, or maybe even like police brutality, and all those things just not getting fixed, still being a part of like our country and everyday lives, would say that our democracy is not healthy at the moment. Dude, I have no idea what to do with my hands.
I don't either. That's why I just moved.
I'm not sure what to do with my hands.